Okay, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats, grab a cup of coffee. We'll go ahead and get started. I wanted to make a few announcements. Next week we have Dr. Jay Joshi. Jay will be presenting. He was featured in Crane Chicago Business. They called him Doctorpreneur in the article, really great article, and he's got a new product. It is actually something that I believe that one of our local manufacturers can make. Point Medical and I have been talking about possibly getting together to work on it. So it could be something that's designed, invented, and manufactured all in Lake County. So it could be a very interesting opportunity for us. I did find an extra 1 Million Cups t-shirt. I'm going to give it away with a bit of trivia question. And it comes from last fall, and it was off of Inc.com. And I'm going to ask the question, what percentage of working adults are now entrepreneurs in the United States? Anyone who comes closest wins this fine 100% Egyptian cotton t-shirt. That's kind of stretchy and makes me look like a sausage.
Could you repeat the question?
What percentage of working adults in the United States are entrepreneurs? Okay.
30%.
We have 43% and 30%. Yes, sir. How many? 52.
I think it's higher. I think it's 65.
Percentage of working adults. Okay, we have a 5.
15?
8 and 15. 10? Anybody else?
12.
Okay.
35.
35. Ken?
I'm in the 70s.
Okay, so we actually are. Yes, Mr. Reggs.
60%.
It's actually 14% of working adults in the United States are entrepreneurial. Congratulations. So I have one last trivia question that's focused on Indiana manufacturers. What percent of manufacturers in Indiana who have 450 or more employees are completely automated? That means their manufacturing has been advanced or modernized to the point where they need advanced manufacturing employees. 70%? 7%. These are employees with 450 or more employees. So these are the large companies.
What is the question?
What's that?
Did you say completely automated?
Completely automated.
5%.
5%. Anybody? 20? How about our guys from
Let's say 33%.
all right. And the
Automated is tough, right?
okay.
When you say completely automated, so you still have people that are running the machine.
Yeah, there's still people running the machines. There's still people who are going in there, industrial maintenance guys who are troubleshooting the PLCs and the human interfaces.
75%.
75%. No? So this one is actually incredible, and it actually is making Indiana one of the #1 states for advanced manufacturing employment in the entire United States. 92% of all firms who are 450 employees or more are automated in the United States. So who gave me 75? Mr. Mirko Miric. A fine stainless steel coffee mug. I cannot guarantee that it was made in the United States, but
That's not fair. That's what he does for a living. It was pretty far off still.
92%. So we still have a lot of work to do with the companies that are between 2 and 449. There's a lot that needs to be automated. So that's why CMEC exists. So I'll tell that story some other day. I'm going to turn it over to Ken Gonzalez right now to introduce our guest speaker. And here you go, Ken.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Ken Gonzalez. I work for the Indiana Small Business Development Center. Another thing that you may not know, I am a founder of the South Lake Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which I and a couple other partners started about this time a year ago, or 2 years ago, excuse me. And at one of our first events, I had the pleasure of meeting our speaker today. He came to our organization dressed very well, and so I wanted to seek him out and find out his business story. Unfortunately, this week we had a late cancellation, and early Saturday morning I contacted Paco Fernandez, our speaker, to see if he was up to presenting here on Wednesday. And he told me, well, I've never created a PowerPoint presentation in my life. So I hope that this goes off well. Paco is definitely very experienced in his business, but he is an entrepreneur and he has a story to take his business to the next level. That's why he's here today. So without any more delay, I'd like to introduce Paco Fernandez, Paco's Custom Clothing.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with you guys. It's an honor more than anything else, just simply because I'm very excited of what I've accomplished, and I'm not going to be political, and I'm not going to blame any. I'm not going to talk about anybody who's running for office, but I am a perfect example, and you'll understand why. I was born in Tampico, Tamaulipas, Mexico. I arrived in this country for the first time December 24th, 1967. The biggest snowstorm Chicago's ever had. Now, Tampico, Tamaulipas is directly across from Tampa, Florida, on the Gulf of Mexico. Literally. I learned here in the States that it's Tampico and Tampa because there was the main connection between Mexico and the United States back in the 1800s by boat. Tampico is not known touristy because it's a industry port. They import and export petroleum through there. So it's a very wealthy, very dirty port, but nevertheless, it's right off the Gulf of Mexico. That's where I was born. So I bring that up because I arrive in this country. The biggest snowstorm is, I've never seen snow. First day is great. Second day, it's nice. Third day, Mom, can we go home? You are home. What are you talking about? No, I want to go home. So this has been home ever since. Well, actually, it's not true. In '68, we went back to Mexico again and then came back in 1970. I've been here ever since 1970. I've traveled throughout the United States and actually I traveled around the world. But the biggest part of my great feeling about what I've become is one of the things I haven't said is I have only had 3 years of schooling total. 2 years in grammar school in Mexico and 6 months of high school in the United States. When my mother decided that I needed to go back to school, we took a test in grammar school because that's all I had. And somehow I was told that I was overqualified, that I should be in high school. So, okay, let's go apply for high school. And I took the test, and make a long story short, I entered high school, but spoke little to no English. So I asked a lot of questions. And because I was very interested as to what the teacher was saying. So in one of my many questions, the teacher said to me, seriously, are you really that stupid that you have to ask that many times? So I got up, walked out, and never came back. Because I wasn't that stupid. So I started to work full-time, and I was washing windows. I washed windows, and the owner of the store said to me, on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to do a sidewalk sale on 26th in California, 26th in Cassie, actually. They're going to do a sidewalk sale, and I said, no, I don't want nothing to do with sales. I'm not a salesman. No, all I want you to do is watch the people. to make sure the merchandise doesn't walk away. So cool. Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Monday morning, he calls me into his office. I am scared. I did something wrong because nobody calls you into the office. So he says, do you realize what you did? Now I'm sweating. I don't understand what you mean. What did I do? Do you know that you sold more things put together than all salespeople? What are you talking about? I didn't sell anything. What do you mean? And now it's like, okay, am I fired? I mean, what did I do wrong? He says, no. You're going to start washing windows. You're going to come into the store. He says, no, I don't want to sell. It's okay, I'll tell you what. How did you manage to ring up the register that many times? So I just talk to people. It's okay, then you're going to start washing windows. You're going to start talking to people. Cool. I like that idea. So I started talking to people. The owner of the store decided that I was overqualified for the store. So he says, you know what? We're going to help you out and get you out of the neighborhood. Because you started hanging around with the wrong people. You started dressing up. It was kind of getting a little too obvious. So he got me a job downtown Chicago. I was hired as a temp at a company called The Custom Shop. They made custom shirts at the time. The longest 2 weeks of my life. I was there 28 years. I ended up my career with them as their clothing director. I love the clothing business so much that I opened my eyes, I opened my ears, and as I mentioned earlier, I spoke very little to no English. They gave me a script to learn how to talk to people. Today, I can close my eyes and I can recite to you every word from that script. This is, 40 some odd years later. And that's how I learned my English. You got me off the script. I started, well, let me tell you this right now, because let me put it to you like this. You get me back on the script. Good morning, I'd be happy to help you. Because that was part of the script. So I live two lives, my Hispanic heritage life and my script life. And I learned the industry. In 1996, the company was sold to a group of investors that knew nothing about the clothing industry. I quickly realized that they didn't know much, so I started thinking. In 1998, they sold it to a group that knew less than they did. So it was really got in trouble. In 1999, I decided to venture on my own. Some of you may know my very first customer. Unfortunately, he just passed away. Mr. Robert Pastrick, the mayor of East Chicago, Indiana. He was my very, very first customer. He put my business in the map. I was in his office. He said to me, do you mind if we do a press release? I said, sure, absolutely. 2 minutes later, I started to sweat. He says, are you okay? What's the problem? Mayor, I got to be honest with you. You asked me if I would do a press release, and I have no idea what a press release is, and I said yes. So now I'm nervous because I shouldn't have said yes. Or maybe no, seriously, you don't know what it is? Hey, Kathy, get so-and-so from the Times in here, get so-and-so from the Post in here now. They started taking pictures up the wazoo. It's like, cool. Yeah, baby. And that's how I got started to. Almost everywhere I go, I photobomb photos. It's always me. It's from day one. On that Sunday, there was a thing on the Post and on the Times. Local clothier addresses the mayor. I lived in East Chicago, Indiana, 145th and Todd, right across the street from City Hall. I started my business in an unfinished basement. Did I say unfinished? It's dirt, it's everywhere, but I had my corner, it was clean, it's set up, I had a desk. Now the Times wanted to come by and take pictures. Don't look that way, please. Don't let the camera go that way. So on the following Sunday, it was a big to-do with photos and everything else. For the following 3 months, my phone did not stop ringing. That's how I started my business. Then it got a little difficult here in Indiana because selling custom clothing was not as easy. So because of my venture at the custom shop, I had customers all over the country. So I started to follow up with my customers. I have presence now in 20 different cities in the United States. From one customer, Robert Pastrick, to 3,900 customers worldwide. I'm not complaining about how I'm doing. For a kid from Mexico that I'm supposed to be selling drugs, here, let me get my gun out, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not doing too bad. No schooling. I joined an organization called CTDA, Custom Tailors and Designers Association. That's really for tailors. I've proved myself, and I'm not a tailor by trade, by the way. I'm a professional fitter by trade. I went to school and graduated, I went to a university you guys may have heard. It's called, it just escaped me. It'll come back to me in a minute. It bugs me when things disappear. Mark's, it's a clothing company. Anyway, so I'm not a tailor by trade, but I've proved to them that I qualified to be in their board of directors. So I was voted to be part of the board of directors of the Custom Tailors and Designers Association. That gives me access to everything around the world when it comes to clothing, when it comes to fabrics, when it comes to tailors. My customers, the CTDA, we meet twice a year somewhere in the United States. The World Federation of Tailors meets once every 2 years somewhere around the world. And I'm honored to be part of that. I have access to the best of the best from the basic of the basic. My customer, our suits, and people ask me once in a while, do you strictly do men's clothing? And my answer to everybody is no, I go both ways. I make women's clothing as well. We specialize in tailored clothing for women. I am a firm believer, if you're going to do something, be good at it. So when it comes to tailoring, I'm fortunate that I have access to anything you want. But there's a lot of things I choose not to do for that reason, because I want to be good at something. You know, for men, we do make from casual to business to formal, because men are a little bit more relaxed. With women, you guys have so much to choose from that is crazy for me to reinvent the wheel. So when you guys look for tailored clothing, for business clothing, not only is it difficult to find, but it's very expensive. I'm proud to say and fortunate to say that I'm not expensive, and it all can be custom made to your individual measurements with your choice of styling and detailing. And the best part of it all that I haven't mentioned is locally, we go directly to the customer. We go to the home or we go to the office. As well as I have a home office in Highland, Indiana. And October 30th was our first anniversary on a showroom downtown Chicago. So things are starting to develop in more ways than one. In a little while, I'll talk about other investments that have been brought up to my attention from local business people. And I say local, meaning Northwest Indiana. They're not local here in Highland. A group of investors from Valparaiso have approached me and put $500,000 together to take my business to the next level. We're in the process of doing the contract and see where this is going to go. So
Can you talk about the future?
that's exactly. I should have looked behind me. That's exactly what I just mentioned. I'm hoping to finalize this contract and be part of a brick and mortar store in Valparaiso, Indiana. 2 years ago, the same group of investors approached me and decided, let's open up a store. Well, in my line of business, I make custom clothing. I don't have ready-made clothing. When they said let's open up a store, they wanted to open up a retail store. So I said thanks, but no thanks, and walked away from the contract. They opened up a store anyway. A year ago, November will be a year. I got approached again. They're on the way of going out of business, and they wanted me to get involved. Well, I said to them, the only way I'm going to get involved is I am the managing partner. I cannot come to you for anything. And I'll make the decisions. I've been successful up to now because I know my industry. I know what I'm doing. And this is exactly where my business is going, starting hopefully by the first of the year. I'll have our very first retail location. The showroom is in the 7th floor downtown Chicago. So it's just a showroom. It's not people walking in from the streets. Our first store would be in Valparaiso, Indiana, probably December 1st. As Paco's Custom Clothiers. You guys might have heard of Rusted Oak. They opened up a year ago, and they did a big to-do, and make a long story short, they're all in the process of going out of business. Paco's Custom Clothiers would be the name of the store. And from there, I'm already focusing on opening up a retail store on Michigan Avenue. The custom clothing is what it is. It's not only for rich people, it is for the average individual. But we do have, I don't have ready-made clothing. I have vendors in Italy that have fabrics there, just the fabric alone is $2,000 a yard. Who am I to tell you that's too expensive, if that's what you want? 2 years ago, I had a customer ask me for a 100% Vicuna top coat. It was sold for 36 grand. Who am I to tell you $36,000 is too much for a top coat when that's what you're looking for? So I got to have what you're looking for, and that's where the goal of opening up locations. I am looking to start opening up locations in major cities of the United States. I just met someone here who's in the hiring people business, and it's exactly it. I'm starting to look for people to move the business into the next level. Regionalized growth plan. This is exactly it. I'm visualizing where we're going. What are we going to do? I don't want to bring too many people. I want to take our existing capital and move it forward. I want to, in the next 5 years, I'm looking to have minimum of 5 to 10 stores, actual locations in major cities of the United States. My goal is to train the trainer, to train someone in my line of business so that we can start training people around the United States. The goal is to have people not only in a store, but to go to your home or office. Because today, that is really the biggest incentive to a lot of people. They're in a meeting. They can't get out. I have actually taken an order for suits and shirts while the customer is on a conference call. And he's choosing, he got measured, I'm out in 20 minutes. He just spent several grand. He doesn't have to go anywhere. I'll come back in 3-4 weeks for the product. And that's the goal of my business.
Do you have time for the audience to, I don't know, not poke holes, but ask questions? Absolutely. Your ideas? Absolutely. Suggestions, comments, and questions will be highly appreciated. As I mentioned, I am knowledgeable about my industry, my product, not about the business part of the product. So any comments, any suggestions will be highly appreciated.
Was it Harshaft and Marks?
Harshaft and Marks, correct. That's the university. I have a title of, it says professional fitter.
And that's really what I do. Is my partner Gidal Vodovos is the tailor, the brains of the organization, and we've been together since day one. He makes an unbelievable garment. I also have as a vendor the best tailor in the United States. If you have time, sometime today, Google Martin Greenfield. Martin Greenfield, anytime the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or any major newspaper talk about him, he's the tailor of tailors in the United States. That's how he's referred to. He makes suits, for example, for Obama. He makes suits for Clinton, for the last 4 or 5 presidents. He makes suits for many, many athletes. The Blacklist, every cast of the Blacklist, everything they wear is made by Martin. That's who makes my better clothing. So I have access to the best of the best. I import fabrics from all over the world, from the best of the best. And I also have, my suits start as little as $800 to go up to as much as 50 grand if necessary, depending on fabric. So any questions?
Yeah, first of all, can you repeat the questions when somebody asks them so that we can get it on the video?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, give us an idea of how that would work in a retail store. Someone would just come in and they'd see fabrics and then you'd measure them and then they'd come back?
Correct. That's exactly it. When a customer comes, the question was, how would it work on a retail store? The customer comes in, the name of the business is Paco's Custom Clothiers, so you know you're going to talk about custom clothing. I have fabrics for, this happens to be sport coats and top coats. I have fabrics for suits, and the selection of fabrics, you can pass it up. The selection of fabrics is pretty extensive because I import fabrics from all over the world. Every mill from around the world sends me swatches, so you'd be surprised how many different books I have in my office. And customers look at fabrics, they get measured up, and then they come back in about 3-4 weeks to try on the product. Yes, sir.
Paco, I love the business model where you can go into people's offices or homes. I think, that is way ahead of the curve on what's really happening in the industry right now, is the idea of convenience. So I got a question a little bit like, why would you go back into a brick and mortar business model when it seems to be, that's a huge cost center for business.
Thank you on that. The question was, he likes the idea about me going to the customer. And with all due respects, I won't take credit. This has been going on for years. My biggest competitor has, just downtown Chicago, 15 people. And they've been in business for 25 years. This has been going on for many, many years. It's just not advertised, it's not out there as much as it should be. But yes, thank you. It is definitely the way to go, because every swatch is in your size. Every swatch is any style you want. Every swatch, it doesn't matter. It can be made to your choice of styling and detailing. When you go to a store, it's very difficult, especially today, to maintain inventory. That's the thing that scares me the most. So,
can I just follow up on his question from a business perspective? Going into brick and mortar, are you going to be diluting your gross margin, your profit at the gross level?
the answer is no, because the question was, am I going to dilute the profit margin on a brick and mortar? The answer is no, because the only ready-made product that we're going to have is ties, jewelry, accessories, gifts that people can buy. Everything else, there is very little to no inventory. So the only inventory, the only really cost that we have is rent and maintenance of the store. So the volume will definitely make up for that. Give you an example. I opened up the showroom a year ago. This year to date, we have already surpassed all of last year, and last year was one of the best years we had, and we still have 2 months left. And this is mainly, and this year I haven't traveled as much because the showroom has kept me that busy. So by not traveling, the profit margin this year has been much greater because $1,000 traveling and $1,000 here, the profit margin totally changes. So no.
Paco, I hear you and I like the business model that we were talking about. I think Monty has a valid question about the fact that you might, lose because of one fact that you need to focus on is to do marketing, and that marketing has to be done, and your margin will be even going higher. So what you're looking for is volume eventually. With volume, you will be able to really sustain your business.
So your question is?
It's not a question, it's a statement.
It's a statement, okay.
The statement is rests about the fact that you need to do promotions, proper promotions that is in line with customization to bring more volume in. The more volume comes in, your bottom line will be higher. And it's very well taken with Ken's point.
The comment that this gentleman made is that we need to do promotions to increase our volume. Basically, that's the bottom line. I totally agree with you. The only problem that I've had in marketing is that when you advertise, if I advertise opening price, our suits start at $800. The guy that spent $2,000 on a suit will say, that's not custom. If I advertise the suit at the average price, which is around $1,500, the 800 guys, I told you it's too expensive. So it's very difficult to advertise.
We're not discussing price.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
it's your image becomes
we're talking
more
about
important.
branding,
Correct.
which is very important in the minds of the buyer. My point to you is that you need to take the company's branding to the next level. The minute you reach that level, it's unlimited.
Correct. And I totally agree with you because right now, what has helped me tremendously is referrals.
Right. That's word of mouth. It's
Correct.
just one channeling. Consider if you add 3 more channels on that.
And well, and I totally agree with you because what has helped us tremendously the last 12 months is the social media.
There you go. That's another
Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I get 3 to 5 customers, new customers a week just from that.
And when you have a brick and mortar, you could always do interesting ways of promoting internally.
Correct.
Although you're not going to show the suits, but you can have a nice video display of very professionally done videos that show
Correct.
your product.
And I already have 2 videos. I already have 2. You can go on my website. The website is easy to remember, www.fineclothing.net, FINEclothing.net. Now, I just spent $15,000 on a new website, and it should be launched within the next 30 to 60 days. The website that I have now, I am not happy with it at all.
Let me ask you a question. You just shifted on us from a brand positioning, which is Paco Custom Clothier.
Right, Paco's Custom Clothiers.
To fine clothing, right?
Right.
That is important for the buyer to buy into the promise of fine clothier versus Paco, which is a brand name. My question to you is, have you seriously looked into your branding and positioning versus taking that brand into the market with a totally new name that has its positives, which I get it, right? So where are you at on that? Just
Well,
give us a little background.
I haven't thought at all in any way, shape, or form, to be honest with you, in changing. I haven't thought at all of changing the name.
Oh, yeah, good.
Paco's Custom Clothiers has been in existence for 17 years. I have close to 4,000 customers worldwide. And the branding, the label, and everything that we do, by the way, it's under our label. Everything that we delivered has our label. Yes, sir.
So, Paul, I think his question may be more in line to when you're doing your website redesign. Have you thought about having your web address being PacosCustomClothier.net or .com? Because people gets to know Paco's Custom Clothier, they're not going
Okay,
to go to the web and type it. They're going to type that into the web looking for your company.
Correct. And I've been fortunate enough that if you type both, they both come up. They both come up because
So if I visit your website,
Yes.
put it this way, clearly, will I see Fine Clothier or will
no,
I
no.
see
The web
Paco?
Pacos Custom Clothiers.
So, okay, so that clarifies it.
Yeah, Pacos Custom Clothiers is the name of the business. I used 17 years ago when I did started to brand fine clothing. It was catchy, and I couldn't. I missed it by days. I was told fineclothing.com. So it was fineclothing.net, and I thought about it because people, what does Paco make? Oh yeah, fine clothing, and that it automatically popped up. Paco's Custom Clothiers, in my mind, it was way too long.
I get it.
I would suggest, though, still reserving those URLs, because as you become more successful, what you don't want is a competitor to take PacosCustomClothing.com.
Actually, you got a point. You got a point. I will definitely.
You have to take Paco's Clothing, Paco, the whole
Every
thing.
kind of combination you think of, just go ahead and pay for. They don't cost that much a year.
Right.
And have them all redirect to the same site. That's smart.
Correct.
But ultimately, it's a very good point, ultimately, it's a brand that's going to shine. And we know that you love a Fine Clothier part of the name, which makes a lot of sense, right? And I'm really interested to find out why you didn't call it Paco's Fine Clothier.
Do I have 30 seconds to answer this? This is, now, here is, again, goes back to no schooling, no knowledge, no marketing, no nothing. When I left the custom shop, I wasn't thinking of starting my company. I actually accepted a position elsewhere. I took a job, I quit my job. I'm a diver. So I called my new boss. I'm supposed to start on Monday. Can we postpone it to the following Monday? I'm going to go diving for a week so I can be fresh into what we're going to do. Sure, no problem. But hey, we got to talk a little bit about what? We already, everything is done. Make a long story short, I ended up sending them to go to hell. Because he wanted to renegotiate our contract. Now I'm unemployed. And my new employer, I told him to go to hell. So now I don't have a job. What do? I called my vendors, Martin Greenfield. Hey, Martin, what am I going to do? He said, well, what were you going to do for? He said, I don't know. I said, I've never done outside sales, outside direct sales. I've always been inside retail sales. He said, you know what? Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out. I'm going to send you books. I'm going to send you books, and you can go show your customers. You measure them up. I'll make the suits for you. Cool. He said, but I can't do that unless you go get a business license. Cool. I go to City Hall. Hi, I'm here to get a business license. Go up to the second floor. Go to second floor. Hi, I'm here to do a business license. Cool. Here's an application. What's wrong? What do I do with this? What do you mean? What are you going to do with this? Aren't you here to get a business license? Yeah. Well, just give me the license. He says, well, no, we need to fill out an application. What's the company name? What company? Well, what do you mean? Aren't you here to get a business license? Yeah, just give me a license. I got a driver's license. He said, what do you mean? He said, well, no, we need a company name. Well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to do custom clothing. He said, well, what's your name? Paco Fernandez. Well, how about Paco's Custom Clothiers? Cool, that sounds good to me. And that's how I got started. Honest to God, true story. Now, a lot of people have business plans and all that good stuff. And I'm here today with 4,000 clients and
What you're doing is ideal, seriously. It's the right way to go about doing it. It's not to really take a lot of research and time, because your passion is right in the right path. And that path is what you're doing, which is...
I agree, but no longer is the right idea, though. I need direction now to be able to continue and to take the business to the next level.
That's why I was questioning you.
Thank you.
So Paco, I want to understand the customer experience. I know we're running a little long, but like I live with a guy who wears a suit every day. He goes to this place. What's he going to experience? How long does it take to get a suit? Tell him if he doesn't know what he wants.
The question is, what does the customer want or need to know about my business? Well, the first appointment normally takes about 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on the customer. Because again, from the beginning I said I don't like to sell things. I will never just say, here's the fabrics, you can choose from there and I'll measure you and we're done.
I don't think he would really know.
Correct. So what I do is I learned, I spend a little bit of time with the customer. I take time to learn what it is that you do, what it is you want to accomplish, what is this garment for? Is it for business? Is it for social? Because there's different garments for different items. So then that's what takes most of the time. Because once I start to develop this, my mind works unbelievably fast. That I already know what it is you're going to get and how it is you're going to get it and what it is. I ask the customer a lot of questions. If they give me the right answer, there is no discussion. If they give me the wrong answer, we're going to talk about it until you give me the right answer, because I want it to be your idea. You know?
What's the first meeting?
The first meeting is taking the measurements. Choose the fabric, take the measurements. In 3 to 4 weeks, I come back with unfinished product. We do the fitting. In another week to 10 days, I deliver a finished product. That's normal delivery is 4 to 6 weeks on every custom shirt maker around the world. I do have an express delivery if necessary. I'm not going to advertise for Bosa Chrysler, but he asked me last Monday for a suit for a wedding on Friday. I'm delivering the suit on Thursday.
I believe in listening to you, Paco, you're like Mozart. You are in tune with the universe. What you need comes to you when you need it.
Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you very kindly. That wasn't a question. That was a statement. And I'm very blessed. I'm very honored. My biggest thing, my biggest comment or suggestion to especially new people or entrepreneurs is it doesn't matter what it is you're going to go into. It's irrelevant. Just enjoy it. You'll be surprised how much better you get at it if you like doing it. That's it. Because you can be the CEO of a company and you can be the porter. It will show if you don't like what you're doing. The guy that cleans the room, it will clean right here and okay, we're done. The guy that enjoys what he's doing is, ooh, wait a minute, well, move this over so I can clean up because I don't want the dust to come around. So,
Paco, your passion, we all get that, and we get your understanding that you don't really want to be tied to a business plan. But
no, I do.
if you look 2 to 5 years down the road, honestly, it looks like structurally you have two things going on. You have personal service, which you always want to give to, but you're going to open a brick and mortar, and you're not going to be able to wait on everybody in every store. So how does that look to, make it a bigger business or to...
One thing I didn't even touch at all because of the question was how would I develop people to do what I do? What I didn't touch at all is what I'm good at. You just assume I'm good at selling clothing and fitting clothing. That's not really what I'm good at. What I'm good at, and I did that for 20 years at the custom shop, is to teach people what we do. to correct you just a little bit, no, I am a firm believer of a business plan. I am definitely working on this because I need to expand the business and I need to have vision as to where it's going and what's it going to be. I have a group of investors that are coming up with money that I need to answer to them. So the answer to that comment is, yeah, we are working on a business plan. And I said we, right? Now, so what I'm good at is to teach people what I do. Is now my goal for the next 2 years is to train the trainer, to start working on training the individuals that are going to train people around the country. That's really my forte. That's what I did for the custom shop. I was in charge of 33 stores in 11 states. I had a training class every 6 weeks, and we started with 6 to 12 people.
So to define the business, you're bringing custom clothing to the masses by creating stations where others can perform that service.
Correct.
I know we have to at some point.
Ended up.
The more you talk, the more I have questions. I'm thinking that your business model is kind of intriguing to me. Do you foresee these, trained people who went through Train the Trainer program as employees, like traditional store employees, or you see them more as like Uber drivers?
No. There's no Uber drivers. Now, I'm not looking for employees. I'm looking for entrepreneurs. You will be representing the Paco label. There's no question about that, because I will enforce that 100%, because I worked very hard for this. And my customers do this. I had 2 customers that went to a wedding in New York City last Saturday. They from different parts of the world. And they must have been talking about it, and they both went like this, "Oh my God!" So the label is, you will be representing the label. You will not be an employee. You will be part of the company. My goal is, if you're part of the company, if you're owner of the company, you will do much better than an employee.
So you answered my question. They're independent contractors, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's beautiful. Absolutely.
And my email is paco@fineclothing.net. Any questions, anything else, any suggestions? I welcome everybody to send anything and give me anything in more ways than one.
Paco's Fine Clothing. You mentioned suits, you mentioned sports coats, and you mentioned clothing for females. What about top coats? What about leathers? What about
For men, we do the complete attire, from casual to business to formal. I mentioned earlier, last November I sold a top coat for $36,000. Yes. For men, we do the complete attire. For women,
what was it? I apologize.
No problem. No.
What was the top coat made of?
It was 100% Vicuna. Vicuna is a fabric that years ago used to be endangered species in the United States. It's no longer illegal. It's much better. It's much finer than cashmere. I learned after I sold that top coat that the government regulates that fabric, and in order to bring it in, it has to come with a birth certificate. In other words, authenticity of the fabric. And I know that there's 32 top coats sold in this country, and one of them has my label.
Okay. So what you're saying is any fabric?
Any fabric, yeah.
Leather?
Yes. Just to give you an idea, it didn't get to you. Here. This is top coat fabrics. And the other side is sport coat fabrics. So yes.
The video is going to cut off, but we always ask our speakers, is there anything that this community can do for you?
I welcome any and all suggestions, recommendations. As I said, I'm very naive when it comes to the business world, to the business section. I welcome anything and everybody. In any way, shape, or form. There's no question that is, to me, the only dumb question is the question not asked. So any questions is welcome. Any suggestions is more than welcome. And anyway, and the website is www.fineclothing.net. The email is Paco, P-A-C-O, @fineclothing.net. It's all yours.
Thank you.
Thank you very kindly.
Thank you. So I just want to thank everybody. Thank you, Paco.
Listen,
great.
it's a pleasure.
Will you please, sir?
So everyone, thank you. Thanks, Paco. Definitely a great presentation, and thank you for filling in for us. Really appreciate it. Sometimes these things happen.
Remember the label.
Paco's, and actually, I do want to have a set up an appointment with you because I need some new clothes.
$36,000.
No, not quite, but I do like cashmere.
Why wait to the appointment?
Oh, thank you. Just don't do my inseam right now. I do want to point out that next week, again, Dr. Joshi is going to be presenting. And afterwards, from 10 to noon, we will be running intellectual property legal aid once again. So anybody who has any clients, customers, affiliates, neighbors, anybody who's looking to talk about trademarking, patents, copyrights, anything like that, we have folks coming in from Hartman Global out of Valparaiso. They can give you advice. They can put you on the path towards protecting your intellectual property. So that's it. Thank you all very much. Have a great week. Thank you very much.
Go Cubs!